3C rocket, which will power the Chang'e-2 on its trip toward the moon. Shi Dingnan has the story.
The pumping in starts from 9 a.m. this morning. The whole process will continue to the last 3 minutes before the actual launch of the rocket. Some of the fuel are poisonous, so masks and anti-static electricity suit are a must. Those technicians were highly trained. They could even determine when to shut the valve with their eyes closed. These pipes measure to be more than 300 meters long. They connect the fueling station to the rocket. Inside the control center, scientists have finished the last simulation before the actual launching. Their work has to be so precise as to carefully monitor the rocket in terms of seconds.
This round of simulation is by far the most live and real one before the launch of Chang'e. All departments of our system were concluded in it. This means Chang'e's mission is ready to go.
Meanwhile, Yuanwang survey fleet have sailed to their destinations on the Pacific and joined the simulation. The chief designer of the whole project says Chang'e-2 mission is a preparation for a future launching on the moon by Chinese scientists.
Chang'e-2 mission can minimize the risk of our future Chang'e-3 missions landing on the moon. So in the whole moon exploration project, it marks the transition of the maturity of our technology.
Chang'e also says the last 12 hours before the launch is the most crucial. All compartments of the system will be re-examined. Cui Lingnan, CCTV.
And now let's get the latest information on the launch preparation. We're now joined by our reporter Wang Mangmang, who's been covering at the Xichang Satellite Launch Center. Good evening, Mangmang.
Good evening, Soviet.
Could you please tell us some more about the fueling process, which we understand is still going on?
Okay, today engineers and technicians began loading regular propellant into the launch vehicle at 9 a.m. and it lasted for about 5 hours. Fueling is considered the last step before the launch, but the Long March 3C carrier rocket requires another fueling procedure, which is liquid oxygen and liquid hydrogen. The loading of these two low-temperature fuel will begin 8 hours prior to the actual launch time. And since the boiling point is so low, liquid oxygen and hydrogen evaporate. So technicians will have to keep adding the fuel till 4 minutes before the launch. And once this step is completed, we can say for sure that the rocket is ready to lift off. The mission will then become irreversible. Today, roughly several hundred tons of regular propellant was loaded into the rocket. The regular propellant is highly toxic, and that's a major risk technicians had to deal with. The low-temperature propellant, on the other hand, is extremely cold at about minus 250 degrees Celsius. These sound really very risky to us, but are basic routines for staff at the Xichang Satellite Launch Center. It is the first in China to have loading capacity of low-temperature fuel, and its technology has been constantly improved, so it's not a big safety concern. So, yes.
And we've been told that some people living around the area of the launch pad will be relocated and evacuated. Is that so?
Yes. About 2,000 people living 2.5 kilometers of the launch will be evacuated 2 hours prior to the launch time. The person in charge of the evacuation told me that the whole process will take less than 30 minutes. The villagers living by the launch center have been so used to the safety precautions. The launch center is built in 1970 and has launched 59 rockets. So the villagers here are no longer interested in watching the liftoff. They're so used to it. So what the local government does is that it organizes movie screenings for the evacuated people who find it a really good way to kill time. When other people are looking forward to seeing the liftoff, these villagers are looking forward to watching a blockbuster movie. On the contrary, local travel agencies are planning to cash in on the launch day. They offer a one-day tour for 800 yuan, which features watching the liftoff within 3 kilometers off the site. Also, I have some really interesting stories about the staff who will evacuate the launch tower, but I'll save it for the launch day. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mama, and we look forward to your reporting tomorrow. That's Wang Mama reporting from Xichang Launch Center, where we will see the launch of Chang'e-2 tomorrow. And now we go to the nerve center of the launch, that is the Beijing Aerospace Control Center. Our reporter Han Bin has been covering that. Good evening, Han Bin.
Hi, Zoe.
Well, we know you've been covering several space missions before. Usually this is a time of tranquility. Everybody's bracing up for the launch tomorrow. Can you give us an update on what is going on over there?
Well, as you can see, I'm now at the ground floor of the Beijing Aerospace Control and Command, and early in the day, the staff here are conducting their daily routine simul testing. Right now, most of the staff are off duty, but leaving only a few people here on their night shift. But once the satellite is being launched in Xichang, all of the staff here will be on the 24-hour duty. But even there is not a testing here, we still can get a general picture of the working environment, and you can imagine how they work. Let me tell you something, and the big screens behind me are the monitors that will closely follow the whole process of the Chang'e project, and there will be about 100 staff working here. Along the two sides there are several rooms, and that will be connecting to the supporting systems. So the staff say they are ready for the best launched window, which is expected to take place around the same time tomorrow. So yeah.
And Han Bin, we know that Chang'e-1 was launched 3 years ago, and compared with that mission, the mission of Chang'e-2 has adopted some new technologies, as we understand. For example, it will be the first time to send a satellite directly into the Earth's moon transfer orbit, which will save a lot of time. So what are those challenges for the tracking and control system this time around?
You're right. There are numerous challenges for the tracking and control system to accomplish its goal, and there are several critical points that will decide the fate of the Chang'e-2. The biggest one is when the rocket directly sent the satellite to the lunar transfer orbit, that is about the 200 kilometers perigee to 380,000 kilometers apogee. And why? Because both the Earth and the Moon are on the move, and it's just like shooting on a moving target, and special care should be needed, and you need precision and the calculation, the time, the speed, the position, and everything should be all right. And if you miss this point, it will be very difficult for the Moon to accept and to take this orbiter back into the orbit. And if you miss it, although we can use the other track and control measures to put it back, it will be using a lot of fuel the satellite needs to carry out its experiments, and this will make it difficult for the satellite to finally accomplish its scientific achievements. So right now the staff here are giving their utmost care, and after numerous tests and simulation tests, they say that they are ready for the big day, and they are very confident for a successful launch. Back to you.
Okay, thank you, Han Bin, and we are ready to see what is going on tomorrow. In other news, Chinese Premier Wen Jiabao has met with foreign experts who have been awarded